Hey guys, how you doing? Ron Raymond here from the Raymond Report with tip number 9 of our Dog Days of Summer series. And each and every day during the month of July, I'm going to be releasing one sports betting tip a day, and hopefully it will help you with your sports handicapping needs when it comes to the current baseball season or the upcoming NFL, college football, and CFL football if you're a CFL fan. All right, let's talk about tip number 9, and it's finding value in a baseball winning streak. Now, what I've done is I've gone through all the numbers. Today is July 3rd, and this video is scheduled to be released July 9th, so it'll be a week behind in the stats, but the meaning will be all the same. But what you want to do is there any value betting into a winning streak when it comes to 2 games, 3 games, 4 games, or 5 or more games in baseball? In fact, this could be almost said in the same thing in hockey and NFL, but I think the cycles are a bit different in other sports because the volume of number of games in baseball, what do they play? 162 games a year, where for the NFL, NHL, and NBA is like 70, 82, and then the NFL we got, now it's what, 17 weeks or 18 weeks with that extra game this year. So it's a little different when it comes to other sports, right? And always love the Frank the Tank logo here. It's one of my favorites. But yeah, let's get into the winning streaks here. And basically, what are we looking for when we're looking into a streaks, right? So here are 3 questions you got to ask yourself. Number 1, what kind of team is on a streak right now? Are they an A, B, or C type team? I'll talk about that in just a second. What is the daily market value of that team at that current time? And I'm going to show you one of the features we have here at the Raymond Report is I call the DMVI, the Daily Market Value Index. And when I look at a team, it's the same thing like I'm looking at Tesla, Microsoft, I'm looking at maybe Bitcoin. What is it worth in my eyes on that day, right? And then the number 3 is there better value betting on a team that's on a win streak at home or on the road? And let's get into that right now. So I do have a chart right here, but for the purpose of this video, so this way it's more legible and it's bigger, I'm going to bring up my Excel sheet. Now, in the Raymond Report, I always talk about there's an A, B, and C type team. And when we're looking at A type teams, we're talking about teams that have a 60% or win percentage or higher, right? And as you can see right now in Major League Baseball, the top teams are San Francisco, Boston, LA Dodgers, Chicago White Sox, Milwaukee Brewers, and the Houston Astros. And again, today is July 3rd, and these are your top baseball teams. I call these are your top, maybe your top playoff contenders, your alphas right now. And then you got your B-type teams. You have San Diego, Oakland, Tampa Bay, Cleveland, New York Mets, Toronto, Seattle, Chicago Cubs, Yankees, Cincinnati, and Washington. And those are your 50 to 59.9%. And then you got the bottom dwellers, right? The teams that are in the basement, St. Louis, Atlanta, LA Angels, Philadelphia, Detroit, Miami, Kansas City, Colorado, Minnesota, Texas, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and the Diamondbacks. Those are the teams that are below 500. But with maybe a couple of wins, these 3 teams here, maybe these 4 could climb into the B. And these 4 teams can just go back into the C, right? And this is why I always say when I talk about the Raymond Report, value, percentage play, and performance cycles, this is exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to performance cycles. A team one week could be in the A, B group, or next week they could be in the C group, right? And what I do is I don't bet on C-type teams. I only bet on B-type or A-type teams. Now, let's take a look at the DMVI, which I talked about here in the video at number 2. So we talked about here, what are the daily market value index at that time? And what I do, so today, and this is a great way to test it. If I were to say to you, let's say we're on the stock market, and the San Francisco Giants are for July 3rd, they're on sale, and you don't know who they're playing. But I'm telling you, whoever they're going to be playing, they're worth minus 204 right now. Are you buying them right now? No matter who they're playing, they're minus 204. Are they worth 204 right now? Same thing with the Boston Red Sox. The DMVI on July 3rd, they're on a 8-game win streak. Their DMVI is at 205. LA Dodgers minus 184. White Sox 178. Milwaukee 163. And Houston. Now Houston here, and this is what I love about this feature, is that even though they're at 1533 and they're really not at the top of the list with, like, say, San Fran, Boston, but they have the best value right now at minus 212. That's because they went off that crazy win streak. They're winning right now in their series. Who are they playing right now? So right now they are playing Houston, where's Houston? Cleveland. So they're playing in the Cleveland series, and they won game number 1. So you're probably on July 9th. You're saying, they didn't play last night. But if you're watching this video on July 3rd, and all these videos are done ahead of time, so that's why they're being released as we go. But 212. So would you buy Houston at 212 right now? And this is why I always say on the value index, compare our number to the bookmaker's number, and this will see if you have value. For instance, the Tampa Bay Rays, they're not having a good run right now. We got them at minus 161. Oakland minus 129. Toronto Blue Jays 119. And then you got the plus, the underdog type money down here, right? So take a look on the DMVI when they're on that streak to see, are they worth value today in the market? So this way, if I'm going to support them during a win streak or a losing streak, I'm going to really make my my analysis and then pull the trigger if I have to on that team. Now, looking at the 2-game win streak of all the teams, so any A-type team, so I separated in 3 categories, the A, the B's, and the C's. So A-type teams, so the teams I just ran off right here, on a 2-game win streak, they are 44-25 in their next game for 64%, where the B-type teams are 60-53 for 53%, and the C-type teams are 55-54 for 50%. So when you look at it, 6 out of 10 times they're going to win the next game, and here 53%, 5 out of 10, and the same thing down here, 5 out of 10. So the only really advantage and edge goes up here for the A-type teams. And when you look at the occurrences that they've been in a 2-game win streak, the average time is 11.5, 10.3 for the B-type teams, and 7.8 for the C-type teams. So think about that. This is why I always say all the time in these videos, right? You are what your record says you are, and the average time that these A-type teams go on a win streak is 11.5 times during the season. Here it's 10.3, and down here it's 7.8. And when you look at the 3-game win streak, the average here is 28-16 record for the A-type teams for 64%, 37-23 for the B-type teams at 62%, and then 25-30, 45% for the C-type team. So really, when you look at the only difference of these 4 categories, it's this right here, the B-type teams on a 2-game win streak, and look at the 3-game win streak, 62%. So if you're looking at that and you're saying, okay, Ron, what do I make of this? What are you trying to tell me right now? What I'm saying is that if you are a B-type team and you're on a 2-game win streak, I don't think it's enough for you to trust them in their next game, because 53% is like flip a quarter, right? Same thing with the A-type team. Even though they have a bit of a better record, I would have more trust on a 2-game win streak than this group of teams that are on a 2-game win streak. The same thing over here. Look at that. Now, so on a 4-game win streak, and let me see here. On a 4-game win streak, the A-type teams are 17-10, so the occurrences dwindle down a bit, right? Only 4.5 times during a 4-game win streak for the A-type group, 3 times for the B, and there's Rusty, he agrees with that. And then there's C-type teams, they only happen once, right? The lower these teams get, the lower the number of volume that the win streak are going to happen, because, in order to get a win streak, you need to be a good team, right? And these teams here, the C-type teams, they're not a good team, so that's why you don't see a lot of their teams going to win streak, right? All right, so 4.5 for the A-type teams, 63%, 64% for the B-type teams, and then 28% for the C-type teams. So you can see that the C-type teams, when they're on a 3-game win streak, it's not very often, and they don't normally win that 4th game. And 5 games or more, so it happened 7.2 times for the A-type teams during their team. Like a team like Houston is 8-2 when they're on a 5 or more game win streak. So in 10 times, they've been there 10 times. Where you get a team like San Francisco, believe it or not, the San Francisco Giants, the top team right now, along with the Boston Red Sox, have only been on a 5 or more game win streak 3 times this year, compared to, say, 9 times for Boston, 11 times for the Dodgers, only 4 times for the White Sox, 6 times here for Milwaukee, and 10 times for Houston. So you know what this also tells me is that I don't know if I can trust San Francisco in the playoffs, because they don't tend to be able to put these strings of wins together, and that could really hurt them when we look back at the end of the season, right? Same thing for the White Sox. All right, so again, on a 5 or more game win streak, 31-12, 72%. But look at the B-type teams, 59%, and for the C-type teams, 20%. So right away, I don't trust C-type teams, so we're not even going to talk about them. When will I bet a winning streak on a B-type team? You know what? Maybe a 3-4 and maybe a 3 and 4 game win streak. I don't know if I trust them on a 5-game win streak. I know it's at 59%, which is close to 60, but I don't think I would want to trust them on a 5 or more game win streak. But for the A-type teams, I think I would trust them on any of those streaks. A 2-game win streak, a 3-game win streak, a 4-game win streak, and definitely a 5-game win streak, because those A-type teams, the reason they're an A-type team because they have a high win percentage, and they tend to when they do streak, except for San Francisco. But again, we're talking low volume, right? So teams like Boston, LA Dodgers, and the Houston Astros, if they go on a streak, those are the teams you might want to consider. Now, one thing I'm going to bring to your attention right here, and it's right this. Which team should we trust, a home team or a road team? And when I look at these numbers right here, home teams on a 2-game win streak, 62% compared to 44% for road teams. Teams that are on a 3-game win streak, 55%. But look at that, road teams on a 3-game win streak, 58%. Home teams on a 4-game win streak, 59% compared to 45% for the road teams on a 4-game win streak. And home teams, 62%, and road teams 60% on a 5 or more game road streak. So again, folks, home teams is the number one thing I'll be looking for if I'm betting on a win streak. And then I would look at maybe the A-type teams on any of these circumstances, and then the B-type teams on a 3 or 4 game win streak. And that's where I think the value lies when you're betting into a streak. All right, there you have it. That is tip number 9. A little bit long-winded today, but I thought there was some really good value, some good numbers to bring your attention. And let me know what you think. Post a comment below in the comment section, and love to hear from you guys to see how you guys are enjoying the series of the Dog Days of Summer series and the tips, and hopefully it'll win you some money. As always, shop for value, play those percentages. We'll see you back shortly with another Raymond Report. Cheers. Oh, by the way, in case you're wondering, Def Leppard, Photograph, best song on the album. Cheers.